Businesses in GTA Online, some are good and some are bad, and others are just damn right terrible, and as a beginner or even just a regular player, you probably won't know which ones to stay away from and which ones are actually good. That's where this video helps. In a tier list format, I'm going to go over every single business in GTA Online and explain which ones are best and which ones are worst. So let's jump in. To kick things off, we have the arcade. A lot of people seem to look at the arcade in a different way. While it may just look like the main base of operations for the casino heist, on the inside it is a business of its own. So let's first discuss the main money making method of the arcade, and that is of course the casino heist. On average, a casino heist with preps included can take a solo player roughly 1 or 2 hours to complete, and that is up until the finale of the heist. The best vault content you can get with the casino heist is either artwork or gold. Diamonds are another story because they aren't always available to get. However, with a 60 to 40% cut between a 2-player finale, depending on your vault contents, you can make 1.5 million, which is good to say the least. However, with the more known part of the arcade explained, let's discuss the business aspect. With the arcade, you can make passive income every few hours of playing. This is via the wall safe in the arcade. Make money from the safe, you need to spend money. What I mean by this is the more arcade machines you have in your arcade, the more money you receive from them. The max safe capacity was 100,000, and if you own every single arcade machine, which comes in at a hefty price, you can make 5k every in-game day, which is 48 minutes real time. Although you have to spend a lot of money at first, this can be seen as a long-term investment, but it will take a very long time to see any return on profits. One last thing about the arcade is the master control terminal. Again, this is a great feature that not that many people take advantage of. Although it is not cheap at 1.5 million, this allows you to run every single business you own from one single spot. Without the need to travel to each one of your businesses, you can simply go here, buy supplies, check your stock and sell. It's a great business. That is why the arcade is in the best tier. Jumping into the next business, we have the agency, the newest business added to GTA Online, and in my opinion a very underrated and misunderstood business. So here's how it works. There are 3 ways of making money from the agency. Number 1, the VIP contract. This can take quite some time if you don't know what you're doing, but essentially it's a stage of 3 parts that can take roughly 20 minutes each, including the finale to each stage. But how it all works is you have to find Dr. Dre's phone, but you guys aren't here for the story, you're here for the money. All up with all 3 stages and the finale, it can take around 1 to 2 hours and you can make $1 million. Not the best paycheck, but that's not the only way of making money with the agency, which leads me to number 2, the security contracts. The security contracts also have 3 stages to them. These are sort of like difficulty levels, and the higher the level means the more money. The first level is professional. These missions can earn you 30 to 40k. Then there is specialist. These can earn you 40 to 50k, and the best ones are specialist plus, which can make you 50 to 70k. Now, just like the arcade, this business also produces passive income, and here is how. The more security contracts you complete, the more money gets added to your wall safe. The max amount for the wall safe is 250k, and for every 5 contracts you complete, that will earn you $500 daily. And with the max daily income being 20k, that means you have to complete a total of 200 contracts in order to get the maximum daily income. Although this may seem like a lot of work, it is, but trust me, it all adds up in the long run and make you some good passive income. Now, what about the final method? Those are the payphone hits. These are small scale assassination missions, and if you complete the assassination bonus along with the mission, you can make 75k. However, there is one downside. It has a massive cooldown of 20 minutes, which can restrict you massively, but you can avoid this. If you switch outfits and close your game, the mission will still be active once you load back in with 0 cooldown in place. With all 3 of these methods, the agency takes the good spot. Next up, we have the OG business of GTA Online, and those are the high-end apartments. And I know what you're thinking, how are these a business? Well, that's because the high-end apartments allow you to start up the original heists in the game, ranging from Fleeca Job to Pacific Standard. And although most of these heists in 2022 are classed as irrelevant and totally nowhere near today's money making methods, they are still some of the best ways of making money as a beginner. That's because of the bonuses that come with the heists. First of all, completing all 5 heists from Fleeca to Pacific Standard on hard mode will make you just over 3 million, which will of course be halved judging on all of the players' cuts. Although this number may not seem like much and it's kind of underwhelming to some of today's heists, there is still something that makes them totally worth it: the Criminal Mastermind Challenge. To complete this, you need to have at least 2 brain cells and 10 hours of your time. You need to not die and complete every heist and prep on hard mode with the same group of players to get a reward of $11 million. So the hard work you put in does pay off in the long run. Although you may find this impossible to complete with the right players, this can be pulled off and can make the high-end apartments worth it, but for many reasons it has to go in average. Making our way further down the list, next up is the facility. As much as this is hated, it is still a loved property in the game. If you don't already know, the facility, just like the arcade and apartments, allows you to start up a set of heists. Those heists are the Doomsday scenario, a painful experience and totally not worth doing for the money. If you complete all 3 acts to the Doomsday heist, you will make 3.5 million, and altogether these heists are not worth the time. Each prep requires you to complete somewhat of a small scale setup to each one and takes probably 1 or 2 hours per heist, and with there being 3, that is a huge amount of wasted time for just 3.5 million. And not only that, but including cuts between 2 players, for example, you could only be making 1.8 million with a 60% cut. So yeah, these heists kinda suck. Another massive drawback of the facility is, you guessed it, the orbital cannon, a tryhard's #1 spot to go to when they are 1 down on you in a fight. The orbital cannon is, to put it simple, the worst thing ever made and should honestly be removed from the game. So, seeing as though there is just so many negatives to the facility, there is just one positive. It allows you to store the Avenger, which is a fairly decent aircraft in the game with some great armor and defense, but all that price for the facility just to get an Avenger is definitely not worth it. So the facility is going in trash and it will stay there. Leading more into the worst businesses now, and we have the Hangar. Oh boy, this thing sucks. It sucks. Don't ever bother wasting your time with this business because you won't see anything in return. First of all, the source missions are extremely slow and tedious. From my experience, sometimes each mission can take around 15 or 20 minutes to complete, and that also includes the cell missions. The profit you actually get from the Hangar is even worse. If you actually source the correct type of material for the Hangar, you can make just under 100k an hour, which is just terrible. And if you add the fact that the source missions take stupidly long to complete, time you spend is totally not worth it at all. However, the only good thing about the Hangar is the fact that it is the only place that you can store your aircrafts. So if you need or use any type of plane or heli, you need to own a Hangar to actually use them, which sucks because that's the only use from it. Because trust me, the Hangar is not a business. That is why the Hangar is for sure staying in the worst spot. Returning to the better businesses now, and that is the Kosatka. Of course, going into the best slot for several reasons. We all know the Kosatka, the king of money making, and it will most probably stay that way for a long time. The Kosatka overthrows every other business in the game because of how amazing it is. If you know what you're doing with the Carabrigo heist, you can make 1.5 million to over 2 million per hour because the heist finale, including preps, takes less than an hour if you are a skilled player, or just over an hour if you have some slight slip-ups. But the Kosatka is just amazing. Getting the correct primary target and secondary loot can make you so much money in the space of such a short time, unlike many other businesses on here taking forever to get you any sort of profit as the Kosatka does. Now, I'm not going to stay on the Kosatka for too long because we all know what it is, but if you have every other business running in the background while you're completing the Carabrigo heist, you can make some serious money from not only the heist but your businesses as well. Next off is quite a recent business in the game, and it's the auto shop. Similar to the agency, there is 3 ways of making money from it, but before we get into those, a massive benefit to the auto shop is its built-in 10-car garage. That is also allows you to customize your own vehicles without the need of buying an extra upgrade to the business. However, the main way of making money with the auto shop is the contracts. There is a total of 8 contracts, and although they don't pay insane amounts like other methods of income, they are still extremely easy to do and take up little to no time at all, somewhere between 30 to 40 minutes per contract. The highest paying contract is 300,000, with most of the contracts ranging from 100 to 200k, but other than that, they can be a great breakaway and something fresh to do. The other 2 ways are exotic exports and the customer deliveries. The customer deliveries are kind of a waste of time and give hardly enough money for the amount you invested in them. All you have to do is customize a vehicle to the customer's needs and then sell it. However, you only ever get around 50 to 60k for doing so, which isn't all that great. And lastly, the exotic exports is essentially a list of 10 vehicles that you can find around the map and deliver them to a location which gives you 20k. So in my opinion, I would put the auto shop in average because it is still a decent business with some downsides. Next up is the vehicle warehouse, one of the most popular active businesses in the game, and for many reasons. If you know how to run this business, you can make some decent cash. The premise of this business is to steal a vehicle, deliver them to your warehouse, customize them, and then sell it to make a profit. The best type of vehicle to receive is top range, and those can make you 80k. However, you won't always get top range vehicles, but there is a way to avoid this by putting in an insane amount of work. That is by sourcing 10 standard and 10 mid-range vehicles in your warehouse to only ever get top range. Although all of this is a massive amount of work required, it can sometimes be boring, but other times can make you decent money. It simply depends if you like to work hard for your money or sit back and let other businesses bring in the money. That is why I have decided to put the vehicle warehouse in good. Sticking with the theme of active businesses, next up, very similar to the vehicle warehouse, is the crate warehouse. This business, like I mentioned, is very active and requires a huge amount of work for little benefit. If you own several warehouses, which you should to get the most amount of money, then they can take several hours to fill up. Even so, you won't get near enough profit from it. And what most people tend to do is wait until there is an active double money event for the crate warehouse, which happens almost every couple of months, and then sell their warehouse or warehouses. That way they will receive a lot more money in return than if they sold them normally. However, the crate warehouse can be an amazing way of leveling up. If you want to know more about that, check out my video above. But with all those factors combined, I'm sorry, but the warehouse is trash. Oh boy, now we are heading into the depths of the worst business. Next up is the document forgery office. Right off the bat, this is by far the worst MC business in the game, and even with recent changes made to all MC businesses, it's still trash. First of all, a fully upgraded document forgery will earn you 126k with full stock. That is ridiculous, and to be honest, I have never took the time to actually earn money from this business. If you fully upgrade the document forgery, which I don't recommend at all, it will cost you just over 1 million, which I can agree isn't the most expensive out of all the MC businesses, but it still isn't cheap. With these upgrades, the document forgery will make you 38k per hour, which means from all the costs of the businesses itself and the upgrades, that will take you 40 hours to make any return on investment. If that isn't enough to be the worst business, then I don't know what is. That is why it is going in the worst slot. One of my personal favourite businesses is the bunker, and that is what we are talking about next. The bunker is one of the best passive income businesses in the game, and you probably hear it all the time, but it really is a great business. The bunker can make you just over 1 million when full, or over 2 million when on double money, which is by far a community's personal favourite event. Just like every other passive business, you bring in the supplies and the staff do the rest for you. A full bunker takes 17 hours to produce, and if you're a solo player, I 100% recommend doing the quarter method. If you don't know what the quarter method is, it allows you to only get one cell vehicle, which in a solo player's instance is a lot better than getting more than one cell vehicle, and is in fact a lot easier. I recommend buying supplies like every other business, and that will cost you 75k. A batch will take 2.5 hours to run out, making you $210,000, and that will give you a profit of 135k, which may not seem like much at first, but trust me, it adds up massively. That is why I'm putting the bunker in the best slot. Finally, one of the better MC businesses. Next we have the cash factory. If you didn't already know, the recent changes made to all platforms, every MC business now pays 25% more than usual, which makes most MC businesses, apart from the document forgery, a lot better, and one of those is the cash factory. If you get all upgrades to the business to of course increase your profits, it will cost you just over 1.7 million. However, it is totally worth it. A full cash factory will sell for just under 300k and will make you 47k per hour, which, if you know maths, is a lot better than the document forgery. Again, like every MC business, the cash factory is passive, printing you money in the background, which is exactly what the cash factory does. I'm so funny. So for me, I'm going to put the cash factory in good. One of the worst MC businesses is up next, and it sort of ties in with the document forgery, but it's the green stuff, the devil's lettuce if you wish. I decided to put this one in trash instead of worst, because at the end of the day, while it still does suck, it is a tiny bit better than the document forgery. So how much better? Well, fully upgraded, it will make 250k, which converts to 41k per hour, and while it is better than the document forgery, I still don't recommend you buy it. So it is going in trash. I do however recommend you buy the next business. This is the best MC business in the game and comes close to being the best passive business in the game, and it is the Coke Lockup. With the changes made to all MC businesses, the 25% increase made the Coke Lockup an amazing business. Instead of the usual 420k that it sold for, it now sells for 525k for a full business, taking only 5 hours to fill up, with of course full upgrades, which is just insane and by far the best passive business. It will make you 70k per hour, and this is one of the businesses I highly recommend, and I use it a lot more, and that is why it's going in best. Next up, although it may not be the best MC business, it comes in as the second best. It is the Mr. White Lab, in other words the Crystal. With all upgrades, this business makes just over 350k, and that is around 30k an hour, which is great. This business should definitely be your second priority over the Core Lockup. Again, because it is the second best, it has to go into the good slot. Now finally, I have saved a good one for last, and rightfully so. The Nightclub. The reason I have left it last is exactly because you should also leave it last. The Nightclub should always be a beginner's final business to purchase, because you need pretty much every other business in this list to make money from it. All MC businesses, the bunker, etc. The way the Nightclub makes money is from all of your other businesses. The technicians you hire will produce stock from all of your businesses linked to the Nightclub. The best business to have linked is the bunker, which also gives you more reason to buy it and don't have to do a single thing except sell. No need to buy supplies, legit none of that is needed. It's an insanely passive and easy business to run, and it's also very solo friendly. This is the main reason I love this business. No matter how much stock is in the Nightclub, you always get one sell vehicle, which makes it so easy to sell as a solo player with no need to worry about selling at certain levels like the bunker and MC businesses. However, I'm going to put it in good, only because most players are beginners and it isn't a business you should go for, and because of that most beginners buy it and have no idea how it works or what you need, and they think it's a terrible business, but believe me, it's the opposite. So with all that said and done, that was in fact every business in GTA Online ranked from best to worst, and oh god, I hope it helped you understand some stuff about which businesses you should avoid and also how they work. If it did, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one, and now that you know which ones are the best and which ones are the worst, why don't you check out this video here to know which ones are the best solo businesses in the game.